It is Wednesday, 22nd November. It is Thanksgiving Eve. Good morning. It's Mervyn Hanley at THG News today. Yes, I'm going to talk about Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is actually my favorite holiday. So I love Thanksgiving. So tomorrow, you know what time it is. No matter where in the world I'm at, I'm going to celebrate Thanksgiving. Let us hear from Carl & Sons on St. Maarten. Don't forget that those of you on St. Maarten, you can take in your turkey or your ham to Carl & Sons tomorrow by 10 o'clock the latest, and they'll prepare it for you. You can pick it up later on in the afternoon, and you'll have yourself a wonderful, sumptuous meal. Compliments Carl & Sons. Of course, you have to pay for it, right? For them to prepare your turkey or your ham for you. But let's hear from the proud folks, the kind folks there at Carl & Sons in St. Maarten.
Carl & Sons have been serving the people of St. Maarten for over 40 years. And the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Carl & Sons for simply the best. There are two locations, Colbay and on the Punfield. In Colbay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Punfield, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Carl & Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Colbay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Carl & Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you.
And speaking of St. Maarten, we have some news for you. On Monday, 20th November, Independent Member of Parliament Solange Ludmila Duncan announced that she will not be a candidate in the upcoming parliamentary elections in January. And I want you to listen. I want you to listen to her answer on why she's not running. I respect this lady double, triple respect for her because she was honest with her people. But most of all, honest with herself. And I have more to say about that after. It is with a mix of emotions that I announce that I will not be running in the 2024 elections. Serving the people of St. Maarten has been one of the greatest honors of my life, and I am immensely grateful for the trust and the support that was given to me over the last 4 years, stated Duncan. The MP emphasizes that the decision was not an easy one. People have asked me why, and the answer is this. To be honest, I am not happy. I am someone who pours their heart and soul into their work, and being a member of parliament just doesn't fit who I am. More importantly, I have not been able to effect the change I wanted to. Politics in this day and age seems more about self than country. It's an uphill battle, but even though I am walking away at this moment, it's still a battle worth fighting for, Duncan added. To people who say, but we need people like you in there, I say that's true. And I tried. Over 13 years ago, after completing my studies, I moved back home to become a civil servant. In 2018, I believed that I could make a difference at the highest level. And instead of only complaining, I entered the political arena. I fought the good fight. I dared greatly, added Duncan. When asked about advice to new candidates, Duncan says that it is important for new politicians to put integrity first and to spend time learning about the dynamics of St. Maarten politics. It took me a while to understand that becoming a member of parliament is more complicated than it appears. Small island politics means that every issue becomes complex because there are so many players with different motives involved. It's easy for new candidates to be pressured into making decisions they may not agree with, but they need to remain steadfast. When I was independent last year, it was because of a serious misalignment with the values of and the direction in which my former party was headed. It had nothing to do with any promises to me that went unfulfilled. The difference between myself and even some of my colleagues and those who went independent in the past is that we did it out of personal principle and not to form a new government in which we held positions. There are those who want to continue the narrative that persons who leave their party are doing it out of self-interest and should be punished for not falling in line. I think this time around the people have seen a different picture. I received a lot of support and praise for my decision. It was the right one for me and one that I do not regret to this day. Duncan states that whether she is in or out of the political arena, her contribution to the development of St. Maarten continues. I will always work to make a positive impact on policy development in my country. There's still so much work to do in creating opportunities for creatives and improving the lives of families with children with special needs. I have so much exciting projects coming up through my non-profit work. This is only the beginning, stated the Member of Parliament. I want to express my deepest gratitude to my team, family, friends, fellow colleagues, and everyone who I've worked with over the last few years. A special thank you to my supporters and those who voted for me over 2 elections. It has truly been my honor, concluded the member. And you see, she had that come to Jesus moment where she said that she's just not happy. Politics is not what she thought it was, and all the dynamics, and she just didn't feel that she would give it her all, or her heart wasn't into this. And I can appreciate that, and I respect that, right? And I wish others can do so. If you know that you are a politician, or you want to be a politician, and you're trying to think, don't put yourself in there, or whatever the case may be, then you disappoint your family, your supporters, and people who sacrificed so much for you. Just respectfully step back, or step aside, or step out and say, you know what, guys, do your thing. I will continue to support whatever party it is, but this is not for me, and I understand, and I wish you all the best, and I'm here to assist in any other way. You don't have to be a politician. Politician is not a part-time job. It's a full-time job. And there are those who want to be politicians. They seem not to understand that. Let's continue with the news. News out of Antigua and Barbuda. An All Saints man accused of stealing 31 stoves. No, this is for real. I'm sorry, this is for real. A resident of All Saints is accused of stealing 31 stoves from a Gold Star store storage facility on October 7th. The store owner, who had secured the facility, returned the next day to discover the theft amounting to over $64,000, according to the Antigua newsroom. The police investigation led them to Wayne Tavernier's residence, where one of the stolen stores was allegedly found. Tavernier complained to have received it from brother One Love. Love was arrested over a month later and charged with larceny related to the stolen stoves, while Tavernier faces charges for receiving a stove valued at $3,000. Tavernier is presently out on bail, while Mr. Love, who allegedly stole the 31 stoves, he's still behind bars after being remanded by Acting Chief Magistrate Dexter Watson. 31 stoves. How can you walk into a facility and you see overnight 31 stoves? Let's continue with the news, and finally no news this morning out of the British Virgin Islands, Miami. This is the story of one of the, should I call him a co-defendant, who was arrested and charged in the former Premier Andrew Fahie's crazy case they have there in Miami. So co-defendant Kadeem Maynard was sentenced in Florida court November 20th to serve 57 months in prison after pleading guilty earlier this year to a single count of conspiracy to import cocaine. Maynard pleaded guilty in June, along with his mother, Mrs. Pickering Maynard, who previously served as the managing director of the BVI Ports Authority. The duo offered full cooperation to prosecutors in exchange for leniency from the court at sentencing. Maynard, who was sentenced by Justice Kathleen Williams, will also serve an additional 5 years of supervised release, according to a minute entry on the court's docket. There was also a special assessment of damages to the tune of $100 added to his sentence. Maynard faced more than 10 years in prison after initially being charged with conspiracy to commit money laundering and attempted money laundering as well. In the meantime, court records indicate that Maynard is also expected to comply with all special conditions in relation to a sealed agreement he made with prosecutors. Maynard was advised of his right to appeal his sentence within 14 days from the entry of the judgment on the docket, and the court advised that a judgment in the criminal case will be issued separately from the court's minute entry. Sentencing in the matter of Kadeem's mother was moved to January 18th, 2024, after it was initially set for August 21st. In the meantime, former Premier Andrew Fahie, who was initially charged along with the Maynards with conspiracy to commit money laundering, attempted money laundering, conspiracy to import cocaine and racketeering, continues to await trial in the matter after being placed on $1 million bond. Fahie's trial is set to begin on January 8, 2024, after a series of delays largely stemming from the massive trove of evidence which prosecutors have had challenges in disclosing to Fahie's defense team. Wow, so Maynard, with one count, he got 57 months in prison, pleading guilty to single count of conspiracy to import cocaine. And you see how the time he will be serving? 57 months in prison, and then when he comes out, 5 years of supervised release. That's one count. Former Premier Fahie, he's awaiting trial, and his counts, 4 counts. But Maynard got 57 months for one. Wow. Okay, so we'll continue to follow the story there, especially in January, the trial of former Premier of the British Virgin Islands, Andrew A. Fahie. That's our news for today. My name is Mervyn Hanley. Do join us again tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock for a similar presentation. Have a good day, everyone.